Malik Neighbors. It don't matter if he has Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Drew Barrymore, Andrew Johnson. He's going for 100 catches and 1,000 yards no matter who's throwing him the ball. He can moss people over the top, take screen passes the distance. Truly a generational talent, one of the young rising stars of this league. Brandon Aubrey, best kicker in the league by far. What Justin Tucker was 3 years ago, Aubrey is now. Making 65, 66 yarders, attempting 70 yarders. How long before one of those actually goes down the hatch? Crazy. Chris Lindstrom, sorry. Not only does he look like Peter Griffin, he plays like Peter Griffin on the New England Patriots, plowing through defenders, paving ways for his running backs. Just one of the best guards in the league. Travis Kelce. Man, it hurts my heart putting him this low as a Chiefs fan, but fair is fair. We all know he's lost a step, but even in that lost step, he still has almost 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, and in the playoffs, he'll turn it on like he always does when it matters most. Nick Bonito. I watched him torment my Chiefs earlier this year. He's one of the rising young stars in this league as well. On the Broncos, he has double-digit sacks this year, a plethora of caused turnovers through interceptions and forced fumbles. Going to be scary to play for years to come. Sam Cosmi, also one of the best guards in the league. Jayden Daniels, as good as he is, holds the ball a long time, kind of deflating the numbers of his offensive line, given the Commanders' bad PFF grades. But even in spite of that, they still have respectable numbers. A big part of that's due to Sam Cosmi holding up for Jayden Daniels. Demario Davis, the heart and soul of the Saints defense. Been doing it for over a decade now, amongst the league leaders in tackles every single year. And on a personal note, a great leader and good, honest Christian man. I have all the respect in the world for him. Xavier McKinney. Oh man, went to the Packers this year, got signed in free agency, has turned their team around with 7 interceptions. What do they have, a 12-3 record, something like that right now? Caused a huge number of turnovers amongst the league-leading tacklers for safeties. Great weapon in the league. Trent McDuffie, my boy, fellow KC member, shutdown corner. Woo-wee! Man, oh man, only got his first and second interceptions of his career a few weeks ago, but that's because teams are afraid to throw his ball his way due to his pure clamps. Mike Evans, man, Super Bowl champion, 10 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Jerry Rice-like video game numbers demolished me in my fantasy football championship. My brother smiled and smiled as Mike Evans caught fade ball after fade ball over that Carolina defense. Man, he ripped my heart from my body. Jalen Tush Push Hurts. Man, the most hated QB in the league by far. And I don't get why. Maybe it's because he inflates his rushing stats with the tush push on the 1-yard line. Maybe it's because he just hands it off to Saquon or throws fade routes to number 11 or number 6. Doesn't go through his reads. But to me, it doesn't matter. The key to this league is winning, and that's what he does. He's a pure winner. Elite win-loss record in his career. Why make it complicated when you can throw it up to one of your elite receivers? Not everybody's got to be Peyton Manning showing off their IQ like a chess master. And the tush push works with him better than anyone else because he can squat 600 pounds. That's the fact of the matter. He's just stronger than everybody else. I have all the respect in the world for Jalen Hurts. As a Chiefs fan, I do not look forward to playing the Eagles. I hope we don't have to. Roquan Smith. I remember on Madden 18, him being 90 speed, just zooming around the field, intercepting pass after pass against me. Man, I hated playing that guy. In real life, it's the same thing. Maybe not the interceptions, but just zooming around the field with that speed, making tackles, leading that Ravens defense. Tyler Linderbaum, one of the best centers in the league. The Ravens have one of the best rushing attacks in NFL history. They have had that for years with Lamar, now with Derrick Henry. But a big part of it that isn't seen is Tyler Linderbaum clearing the way for him. Creed Humphrey, a perfect career. 2 Super Bowl rings, one of the coolest looking guys in the NFL. The only blemish on his record is snapping the ball low repeatedly during the Super Bowl against the Eagles, but King Patty made up for it no problem. Quinnen Williams, one of the best D tackles in the league. And on a personal note, one of the funniest D tackles in the league. Guaranteed top 50 spot for that alone. Sauce Gardner, one of the best lockdown corners in the league. from a very young age. Last year as a rookie, had one of the best rookie seasons for a corner in league history. Kind of fell down a little bit this year, a little sophomore slump, but I'm sure he'll bounce back because he's that kind of a talent. CeeDee Lamb, getting better every single year. Amongst the league leaders in receiving yards, even in a down year for the Cowboys, couldn't stop CD from getting his usual 1,000 yards. He's on the Mike Evans pace right now. Budda Baker, heart and soul of the Cardinals defense. I'm not saying a whole lot because the Cardinals aren't the best defense in the world, but Budda has heart and soul. He's motivated. He's shed tears before because he wants to win so bad. A true warrior, what every coach wants on their team. Trey Hendrickson, leading the league in sacks. One of my favorite players on my fantasy team. Yes, you heard that right. I have a defensive player on my fantasy team. In my league, we do defensive and special team players. Pretty cool, right? But nah, Hendrickson's a dog. He's the real deal. One of the main pieces that caused us to lose the AFC Championship a few years ago. He'll always haunt my nightmares when he strip sacked King Patty in the AFC Championship a few seasons ago. 2021, I believe. Zaire Franklin, league-leading tackler, hard worker, also a good Christian man from what I can tell, also a warrior, a dog out there, bright future. Brian F.U. Branch, a true stat sheet filler upper, tackles, assisted tackles, tackles for loss, forced fumbles, fumble recoveries, interceptions, 15 pass deflections, truly does it all. Jayden Daniels, the man, the myth, the legend himself. The Commanders have nothing, no future to speak of, no present, but Jayden Daniels comes in, makes them relevant, makes them a playoff team. Truly one of a kind, the real deal. Oh man, he is unbelievable. Tristan Wirfs, the anchor of that Tampa Bay Buccaneers elite offense. Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, and Bucky Irving broke my heart in my fantasy championship, and it's only possible because of Tristan Wirfs holding up to allow them to do their damage. Sexy Dexy Lawrence, the best D tackle in the league perhaps, leading the league in sacks at the beginning of the year, ended up with 9, I think. Crazy numbers from a D tackle we haven't seen since Aaron Donald. Nick Bosa, 2 Super Bowl appearances, been a defensive player of the year. Kind of an off year this season for his team, but still, nonetheless, one of the top defensive ends in the league. Kyle Hamilton, the young anchor of the Ravens defense himself. When he's off the field, they don't look nearly as good. You put him out there, they're one of the best. He's one of the most feared players out there. Jesse Bates, another defensive player on my fantasy team, helped me get to the championship game with forced fumbles, I think 4 of them this year, some clutch pick sixes, a menace on that defense, one of the league-leading tacklers from the safety position. And on a different note, broke my heart by intercepting the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Him and Trey Hendrickson killed us in that game. Brock Bowers, man, generational tight end talent, looks like a slot receiver out there, little shrimp, teeny tiny fella. But man, is he fast. Man, does he have hands. Runs good routes. Scary. In our division, too. Going to be a force to be reckoned with. CMC McCaffrey. He didn't play at all this year, being injured, but we still got to put some respect on his name. Been to the Super Bowl, carried the Panthers all those years, carrying the 49ers on offense now, even with that stacked roster. Still a generational talent. Kirby Joseph. 9 interceptions this year, leading the league. The reincarnation of Ed Reed himself, a ball hawk, a true ball hawk. Joe Thuney. Here comes my Chief bias. No, I'm just kidding. I try to be as objective as possible. Joe Thuney anchored the interior of our offensive line, the Big Three, as it's known as. But because of our tackle problems, Andy Reid moved Joe Thuney to left tackle, and he has transitioned seamlessly. That's deserving of top 20 in and of itself right there. Truly a specimen. Former Super Bowl winner with the Patriots, so he's been seasoned, he's been weathered, he's done it all. True championship grit. He deserves this spot. Pat Surtain II, one of the bright young players in our league. I've said that a lot this video, but he might be the highest one of them all. The corner, what's he, second or third year, super young, Tall, fast, sound like I'm glazing him, I'm sorry, but man, he's awesome on Madden and in real life. George Stone Cold Kittle, best tight end in the league probably. Pure blocker, like an extra lineman out there, and can run routes. Has a 1,300-yard season under his belt, 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns this year. Even with the off year for the Niners, Kittle's always doing his thing. Frank Ragnow, one of the best centers in the league, anchoring the Detroit Lions' powerhouse offense. Him and Penei Sewell, who you'll see later in the video, just paved the way, just demolish opposing defenses, allowing the Lions to feast and feast and feast some more. Drink that milk, big fella. Aiden Hutchinson, another Lion, second Lion in a row. If it wasn't for his injury, he might be the leading sack leader this season. Truly one of the, I feel like a broken record saying bright young talents in the league, but we really do got a lot of those. And what more is there to say about guys like this? They're truly young, bright talents. Amon-Ra St. Brown, another young, bright, no, I'm kidding, I ain't gonna say that again, but really, pure possession receiver, rock solid hands. Most surefire weapon on the Detroit Lions offense with Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Montgomery, Sam Laporta, Jameson Williams, all the weapons, and yet Amon-Ra is the best one of them all. He reigns supreme. That right there is just top 15 deserving in and of itself. Myles Garrett, reigning Defensive Player of the Year. I used to think he was overrated, I'm not going to lie, but after watching him play, I realized how many double teams he draws and how impactful he is on the field. Even if the team's record ain't so great, Myles Garrett's always out there contributing, one way or another. Josh Allen, top 4 quarterback in the league. This is where people are going to start disagreeing with me once we get into these QB debates. All the 6 touchdown games, MVP candidate, I get it. But, I don't know. I can't put him above the other 3 yet. I get it. One of the highest passer ratings in postseason history. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Look it up. I know Josh Allen's stats. I respect him. A true baller. And I'm kind of intimidated to play him. He's responsible for my team's 1 loss this season. I know what he can do, but I just can't put him above the other 3 quite yet. Derrick Henry. King Henry himself. 2,000-yard rusher. AFC Championship game appearance last year. Anchoring that Baltimore Ravens offense. Man. Woo-wee. What more can you say other than I do not want to meet him in the A-gap? Fred Warner, a pure takeaway specialist, truly a machine out there. The forced fumbles, the plays he makes, the leadership he provides to the 49ers defense, 2-time Super Bowl appearance person. Maybe he'll get that ring someday, just not this year, hopefully. Actually, that's not possible. They're out of the playoffs. Sorry, that was a slight dig. I didn't mean it like that. Fred Warner, awesome player. Moving on. Tyreek Hill, the cheetah himself. Almost had 2,000 yards receiving last year. The hot commodity on the Miami Dolphins. Taking the league by storm. Running circles around defenders, literally. Man, if you ever wanted to see speed, acceleration, this is it right here. Tyreek Hill, lightning in a bottle. Penei Sewell, as I mentioned earlier with Frank Ragnow, those two are the heart and soul of that Detroit Lions offense. The best offense in the league, plowing through everybody. Good defenses and bad. They never waver from scoring 40 points. And Penei Sewell, young, big Hawaiian man, is what makes it all possible. Chris Jones, best defensive tackle in the league. Sorry, Sexy Dexy. I forgot about my boy Chris Jones for a second. But no, even on a limited snap count, dude comes in drawing double teams, triple teams, a force to be reckoned with in the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl every year. Championship pedigree, making plays to help us win the rings year in and year out. There is no replacing Chris Jones. Truly one of a kind. Maybe 2 of a kind with Aaron Donald, I'll give it that. Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a second. Chris Jones was number 8. How are they both number 6? Who's number 7? Where is number 7? Well, guess what? There is no number 7. Do you want to know why? Because that's the way numbers work. When you put 2 players in the same slot, you skip over one number and go on to the next. That's the way it works. For instance, okay, I'm not even going to get into that. That's nonsense. Anyways, but why do I have them both at number 6 is the better question I should answer. And the reason why is there's no distinction between these two. Joe Burrow and Ja'Marr Chase are the exact same person, went to the same college together, got drafted to the same NFL team, are BFFs, best friend forever, two peas in a pod, conjoined twins, lovers of football and winning. Every pass that Ja'Marr Chase catches for his league-leading receiving numbers comes from Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's league-leading passing numbers, the majority of them are passes he's thrown to Ja'Marr Chase. And so they literally are just the same. They're the same thing. So they're both our number 6. Lamar Jackson, MV3 possibly this year. If he wins his 3rd MVP, I don't think anybody could complain. I personally would give it to the person I have at number 3 in 2 spots from now. But if you give it to Lamar for his 39 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, insane Aaron Rodgers-like efficiency, I can't blame anybody. Well deserved. All he needs is that ring, and then he'll be up there with the all-time great quarterbacks. First ballot Hall of Famer. The ring is the one thing eluding him at this point. He is that good and that electrifying. All-time rushing yard leader for a quarterback too, by the way. I know y'all know that probably. Trent Jordan Watt, the best defensive player in the NFL, continuing a long lineage of Steelers legends on the defensive side of the ball. TJ Watt is the same as Mean Joe Green, as Troy Polamalu, Rod Woodson, all those Steeler legends. He's the next one in line. A menace, just like his brother JJ was. Sacks, forced fumbles, interceptions, drawing holding penalties. Wreaks havoc on the league. Saquon Barkley. Now this is my MVP. I personally don't agree with giving the MVP to quarterbacks every year. There's so many other great talents at other positions out there. They seem to only want to give it to quarterbacks, which kind of bums me out. And it breaks my heart for Saquon because he has 1 game left to possibly break the rushing record set by Eric Dickerson in 1984, and his team is not even going to play him. They're going to sit him out to get him healthy for the playoffs. Well, you know what? It's understandable. I get it. You want to go for the Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal. But this is a chance to etch your name in history. These chances don't come by often. So if it was me, I would want my player to go take it. But you know what? That's their choice, and I respect what they decide. It's none of my business. And on another note, people are hating on Saquon, saying that he got 2,005 yards in 16 games. So even if he did play and break Dickerson's record in the 17th game, it wouldn't count. It'd be an asterisk because Dickerson did it in only 16 games. But that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And you want to know why? One, because Saquon has 33 less carries than Dickerson had that record-breaking year. So if he played this last game hypothetically and got the record in 32 carries or less, he would have done it in fewer carries, fewer touches. So I would definitely count it for that reason. And for 2, Eric Dickerson broke the record when it was set in a 14-game season. O.J. Simpson had 2,000 yards in 14 games, and Dickerson took 16 games to barely beat O.J.'s record. Where people in 1984 put in an asterisk on Dickerson's record, just a baseless argument in my opinion. Drives me bananas. Justin Jefferson, Jay Jettis, the best receiver in the league. This right here, if I was a coach, this is the one person you want to show film of to all your kids dreaming of being receivers. Perfect technique, footwork, hands, hustle, everything, IQ. He is the real package. Justin Jefferson, mental and physical. And number 1, Patrick LaVon Mahomes II. As I call him, King Patty. 2 MVPs of the league, 3 Super Bowl rings, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, hopefully a 4th this year. That'll be the first ever three-peat in the Super Bowl era.